Welcome to Dark Side of BEASTwriter. I'm your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be discussing everything in the know that you want to know that's going on straight from Raiders headquarters. I am here as we speak, and I'm doing the first live stream here for all of you guys to enjoy, and hopefully I can help you guys out and give you guys some exclusive content found nowhere else on the web and provide the best coverage that I can. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just get started. Now, for those who are new to following me, just be sure to turn on and flip on the bell notification so you guys get notified when I go live or when I upload content on YouTube. Also, if you guys don't know, I have a Twitter. Thank you everyone who has been supporting me over Twitter. We have hit over 400 followers over the last 2 days, and I can't thank you guys enough. It's just been going crazy. Like, my phone's been dying. I'm not joking. I get notifications left and right. A lot of questions regarding Brandon Parker, obviously. A lot of feedback has been kind of thrown around as to what the rumors are going around and swirling around here at Raiders headquarters. But without further ado, again, I just want to say mahalo first and foremost, because I wouldn't be here without all of you guys in my corner, and I can't thank you guys enough. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. There's a lot of questions that are being thrown out there, like I said. So I'm going to toggle between Facebook, my Facebook group, my Facebook page. I'm going to toggle between YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. We're on it all. Like, we're just going. All right. So bear with me for a second, and we'll go ahead and get to those questions that you guys have and get started. All right. So how we format the Pick Six format is usually at 6 o'clock every 6 p.m. We're going to go ahead and do a Pick Six segment where I kind of give you the news, notes, and quotes regarding the team and give you the pulse of the team on what's going on and what I'm seeing in practice, what I'm hearing and seeing on the field. And then also I'm going to double down on those gains and make some predictions as to how I see the week playing out based on the matchup that they're currently like for this, excuse me, drew a blank there. I need my coffee. But no, so they're going to be facing the Minnesota Vikings. So let's say this is a regular season game. I will put on my spot on predictions and analysis. I call it spot on predictions because the Beast Receipts don't lie. Go ahead and hashtag the Beast Receipts. And there's a reason for that, because I grade all 32 NFL teams. When I say I grade all 32 NFL teams, I literally grade all 32 NFL teams. So I watch 65 to 70 hours of game film every single week on top of staying on top of the team that I'm covering, right? So in order to formulate that analysis, I always thought, for me, I can't speak for anyone else, is if you're going to criticize or praise a player, at least have the decency and respect to grade the snap, right? Grade every single snap, watch the coaches film, get the all 22 coaches film, and then do the legwork on it, right? Now, you can't see everything, right? Because coaches don't tell you everything, like which technique. But I mean, if a guy's lined up an XYZ technique and the second level backer is flushing the play back inside because he's in a help trail position or whatever the case may be, based on if it's an outside zone run versus an inside zone run, you can kind of figure out and put two and two together, right? Like, it's just kind of common sense. But like, there's other nuances. Like, I talk about the ROE, the rules of engagement on the back end, especially like the third level, right? In Nick Saban's defense, he talks about the secondary, and you talk about the rules of engagement. Well, there's a cover 7, right? You have cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, and cover 5 shells, but you also have cover 6. You can kind of have cover 7, right? Cover 7 is, I mean, that's crazy. It's a crazy complex cover shell, and you really have to be smart, right? You have to be smart. You have to get it, because there's different rules of engagement when it comes to taking the curl flat defender. Also, in that cover 7 coverage, you want a 3x1 or a 3x1 or 3x2, I should say, or a 2x1. You always want one man on the strong side of formation. So it's always an one man advantage on your side of the formation if you're going against trips formation to the left or to the right, or whatever the case may be. And so that's why when you really watch film, you can kind of pick up on tendencies, right? When you come to the Denver Broncos and New England Patriots, where I said the Denver Broncos and Patriots are neck and neck for having the best secondary in the entire NFL. And so this is where we're going to go with this. All right. So it's a little bit, I don't know how to say it. It's just different. Like, I like doing things different. I like watching game film. I like to feel like I'm a student of the game, and we're just going to go with the flow. And then if you guys have any questions, shoot them over my way. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Without further ado, let's kick it off. All right. So who will be the starting offensive line for the Las Vegas Raiders? Well, I already went on record and I said, I'm not afraid to put my analysis out there. I thought it was going to be this. It looks like it's shaping up to be this way. The left side is obviously going to be the strong side. That's no surprise to anyone. So you have Colton Miller, right? First round pick coming out of UCLA. He's a blindside left tackle. I mean, duh. And then you have John Simpson. I was really high on John Simpson coming out of college, coming out of Clemson. he was tailor-made for the power-based run scheme. That's his skill set. He's a phone booth mauler type of a guy. That's just who he is. And so this is going to be really, really good for John Simpson, because in year 2, you're going to see a lot of growth from him. And so when you see teams that were coming out of college, and again, I cover all 32 when the draft comes around, and he has talks with the Pittsburgh Steelers. What did they run? AFC North, right? What did they run? Power-based run team, right? They're a power-based inside zone run team, right? So when you take that into account and put 2 and 2 together, and then you see what I'm seeing in practice and the techniques that they're teaching, it's definitely a power-based run type of an offense that Josh McDaniels bringing. Now, watch me be wrong. No, it's going to be a mix and match, but it's going to be more power-based run. I mean, that's just you can just tell, right? You can just tell based on the personnel that they're bringing in, just like with Coach Graham and how I had that Freudian slip on how they were going to transition to a 3-4. It's like, I never said that, and he did it, and that was a Freudian slip on my part. But hey, he didn't say I was wrong either. He says I was on to you. So love Coach Graham. And again, this is something that I'm really excited about when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders, because again, I covered the 49ers for so many years, and coming from San Francisco and seeing the different coaching staffs and different style of teachings, you kind of can pick up on little things. And now that I'm here in Las Vegas and watching practice, I get the same vibes. How do I say this? Good vibes. Like, you see the cultural change, right? And I'm shaking right now, maybe because of the coffee, or it could be just because that Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler are on the right track and have this team trending in the right direction. All the hype that you hear on NFL Network is true. Like, it's the real deal. Like, I'm not kidding you, because if you look at the cultural identity and you listen to what the players are saying, they're buying in, right? You see me on Twitter. How many times have I counted players saying that? Buying in. 4. Right? I talked about iron sharpens iron before that term was even thrown out here in training camp. And what do you see? Iron sharpens iron, right? Competition, right? You hear Coach Simmons talk about competition. Every coach that comes up to the podium talks about competition. So everyone is on the same page from the top down. And I'm going to not talking about the coaching staff. I'm talking about the management. I'm talking about upper man. I'm talking about the whole 9 yards. It is on point. So when everyone is on the same page and they have a common goal, right? You don't have to agree on everything. You don't want people agreeing on everything, because it's like, no, like, that just doesn't work that way, because then there's no healthy discussions or debates. I don't like calling it debates, discussions on, should this player be active on this day as opposed to this player? How should we roll in this player? Should Nate Hodge play the boundary more as opposed to slot going up against this XYZ team? So, yeah. But starting with the offensive line, yeah, John Simpson's going to be the left guard. Andre James is going to be the starting center. And we see Dylan Parham cross-training there for the most part. But at the end of the day, it's almost like this. Like, Dylan Parham struggled. He struggled today. And if you follow me on Twitter, you would know that he struggled a little bit on one-on-ones. That's not to say that Dylan Parham's not going to be a good player. He's going to be a great player. He's very smart. He's a student of the game. He's coachable. You can just see it. You can just see that he's absorbing all the information like a sponge, right? And so when you see this and you're watching practice and you're saying, oh man, this guy's going to get it. Because remember, when I covered Jimmy Ward back in 2014, he was learning multiple positions. He was learning strong safety, free safety, slot, and boundary, right? So that's 4 positions. And Dante Whitner was trying to help him on the back end. And what I saw on film, I was like, this guy's a traditional free safety. Like, this guy's just a free safety. He's not a box safety. He can come up and hit you. But he, coming at a Northern Illinois University, man, I saw a guy that just had the range. Now, he doesn't come up with the INTs. Okay, so be it. But he's always sound in coverage, right? And there's a guy on YouTube today talking about Trayvon Merrick, and I'm just kind of going off topic from the offensive line, but here we go. And Trayvon Merrick coming out of TCU, right? And he's like, oh man, Trayvon Merrick's good, but he's not getting interceptions. It's like, too many people put stock on interceptions. All right, yes, turnovers are a good thing. They're a great thing, right? Turnovers are great. You can talk about the hits analysis that the Chicago Bears are using, right? Hustle, intensity, takeaways, and what is it? Smarts? It's not smarts, is it? I think it is. No, it's not smarts. It's something else. The hits analysis. I don't know. Go look it up. But anyways, it was brought over from Matt Eberflus, right? He brought it over. And so that's the kind of format they want to use, the hits analysis, right? And Darius Leonard talked about it, or Shaquille Leonard, I should say now, who was the best off-ball linebacker in the entire NFL in my grading system last year, beating out Roquan Smith, who the year prior was number 1. Now Roquan Smith has requested a trade. I wonder why. Because I said here on YouTube that contracts nag. He's going to want to be the highest paid off-ball linebacker. You look at that draft class, right? The top 5 off-ball linebackers in the game in my grading system, right? Just putting it out there. Number 1 last year was Darius Leonard, Fred Warner, and then Roquan Smith. They came out of the same draft class, by the way. So if you look at that and put two and two together, only Roquan Smith obviously was the first round pick. Darius Leonard was not, and either was Fred Warner. But you look at that and you say, hey, look, like, gosh dang, man, like, I want to get paid. Fred Warner got paid. Shaquille Leonard got paid in a front-loaded deal. I don't want a back-loaded deal. Look, I'm into my second contract, bro. Like, you're going to have to pay me. I already earned my respect. I want my money now, you know? It's like that one commercial, I want my money and I need it now, And it's like, okay, I get it. You need your money. Secure the bag. You should. But getting back to it, I think the offensive line is set. Andre James is going to be the starting center. Now, the flip side of that is we're going to have problems on the right side. I mean, that's not a surprise to anyone, right? If you look at the right side of the offensive line, right, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Is Alex Leatherwood going to be the starting right tackle, or is he going to be kicked into guard? Now, when I ran my grades when it came to Alex Leatherwood, and again, he's a 2021 first-round pick drafted number 17th overall out of Alabama, Roll Tide Roll. Once they kicked him inside the guard, week 5, right? Week 5, he was going up against comparable talent. And in my grading system, he did very well in a small sample size that I pulled from, right? So he goes up against guys like Bilal Nichols, who's now his teammate with Chicago Bears. Well, who else was on that team, right? Playing at that 34 base. You have guys like Eddie Goldman, right? Like, these guys are serviceable defensive linemen who can provide solid depth, right? I'm just letting you guys know Eddie Goldman is not – he's not a household name to a lot of you guys, but Eddie Goldman is pretty damn good as a solid depth piece type of a player. And then you look and triple down on those games and look at Philadelphia Eagles. What did they do? They have Fletcher Cox and who? Javon Hargrave, who they brought over from who? The Pittsburgh Steelers, who was playing what? A 3-4 nose tackle, right? And then they had to kick in Tyson Alualu. I'm talking about the Steelers. And he had to replace Javon Hargrave, right? So again, if you're going to play musical chairs and you're going to talk about different players and how good they are and how bad they are, you better know what you're talking about all 32 teams. So here we go. All right, so then you have Javon Hargrave in there, and he played well against that guy, right? And then he played against the Denver Broncos, and we can go round and round and round and round we go, all right? So in my grading system, in those 3 games that he played, and mind you, Bears, Broncos, Eagles, small sample size, I get it. He graded out a 7.2 out of a 10, which is good. Better in pass protection. He did better in pass protection. That's one of the things that Alex Leatherwood was struggling is his pass sets, right? Whether it's angle set, jump set, whatever the case may be. Okay, cool story, bro. But he was a Pro Bowl guard in those 3 games, and I think his best strong suit is being kicked inside the guard. Now, can he play right tackle? Obviously, he can play right tackle, but at the end of in a bind, and maybe, yes, going into year 2, I'm not going to give up on Alex Leatherwood because, again, the most growth for an NFL player is from year 1 to year 2. Jim Harbaugh always taught me that. He's like, hey, yo, the most growth for a player is year 1 to year 2 because you're getting acclimated to the speed. You're getting acclimated to the power, the conversion of speed to power. There's all these different aspects that go into it aside from on-field performance. You got to deal with the off-field stuff, right? The financials, the lifestyle. I mean, you're a professional now. You're not in college. You're getting paid to do it. Well, now there's whatever. But you guys get what I'm talking about. All right, so we have some questions here. David Kellenberger says, Beast, you killed camp coverage today. Kudos. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the love. And mahalo for the love and support. Like I said, I would not be here without you guys in my corner. And it's funny because I'll be honest with you. Like, Niner fans are still following me because I cover all 32 teams. And it's good for fantasy football. Let's not get it twisted. Like, oh, if it's near the PPR, they go, oh, what's going to happen this year? I will let you guys know. Like, and I love my 49er fans. I love my Raider fans. I love every fan. There is no bias here. I'm all about good vibes only. That's all I got to say in the dark side of BEASTwriter. So if you guys want something and want to know something, you want grades of a player, like, oh, yeah, cool story. You have a grading system? Yeah. Okay. I want grades on Khalil Mack. Sure. Let me pull it up. Which game do you want? Oh, how many yards did this guy give up? Okay, well, the burden of proof. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't rely on PFF because, well, for a lot of different reasons. But I have my own grading system. And again, if you look at the Beast receipts, my grading system on a lot of players comes down to 0.3 of 1 point off, or it's a spot on. I'm telling you. And I put up my stuff before PFF sometimes. And so that's why the grades kind of like, boom. And that's kind of how I do things. Now, is it like better than PFF? No, like I'm not going to say it's better than PFF because I'm not going to say that, but it's just different, right? It's just a different And of course, you guys can formulate your own grading system too. So as long as you're accurate in your analysis, I think you're on the right track, right? I think you're on the right track. So thank you so much for I appreciate the love and support, man, for the coverage. I try to post up my YouTube videos. It's funny because every time, so here I am at camp, and here we get this, right? So we have this sheet, right? And like I said, this is something that I was taught in my first mini camp, training camp, whatever you want. I guess you can call it training camp. So back in August of what year was it? 2012. 2012. So yeah, damn. I am old. 2012. So back in 2012, so I remember going in the media workroom, and then at Levi Stadium or whatever. Before Levi Stadium wasn't built yet, but I remember getting this, right? And so you had this, and basically you fold it like a hot dog, because if you don't fold it like a hot dog and you just keep it like this, you're not going to know the players, because there's like 100 players. Okay, 90, whatever the number is, 90 players. Cool story. But if you fold it like this and then always go off, what I like to do is, well, you see this little scribble from my one-on-one drills. But if you really want to do your due diligence, you look off the numerical numbers, and that's how I do it. I mean, as Eric Wright would say, I'm the analytical guy, and he's like, "You're the analytical guy. You think such and..." I was like, "Yeah, dude, I am analytical. I like numbers, but it's not the end all be all. Of course, you have to take it with a grain of salt." But getting back to it, I like numbers. I like doing it. I like the number game. The number game works. The number game works for me. So that's how I can kind of circle things out. And I'm telling you right now, man, my Twitter thumbs, I'm sorry if you go, there's some errors on there in terms of like misspelled things, like Tyler Lancaster. If you go back to my Twitter, it says Tyler Lancaster 4. I don't know. I'm sorry, but you guys get it. I think that's the only typo I made. Oh no, I think I said I put me or something twice, like a me. I don't know what the hell. Anyways, you guys get the picture. There was only 2 errors, but it took a long time for these one-on-ones. It took it took me a while, but I do it all for you guys because, again, I'm the one there reporting it, and I want you guys to get it in real time as much as possible, so you guys can kind of formulate your own analysis when I come back on the Pick 6 segment, so you guys can kind of talk about it and be like, hey, look, what did you see on this play, or what did you see from this player? All right, so that's what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it all day, every day. All right, so I don't know what's going on with Brandon Parker, right? We don't know what's going on with Brandon Parker. There's been reports that he's going to IR straight from headquarters. I ain't hear crap about that. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not saying that the source is wrong. I'm not saying any of that. I don't want any drama. All right. I'm good vibes only here in the DOB. I'm not, hey, look, I don't know. All I know is what I know. And what I know is I don't know anything about Brandon Parr. I mean, he wasn't practicing, but I don't know. Thank you so much to Robert Corey. Appreciate the super chat and super sticker, my man. Mahalo for the 11 support. He says, who is your biggest surprise player so far? Top 2. Wow. I would say Lester Cotton has been extremely dominant in practice. I mean, he beat 2 guys on both his one-on-one drills. I mean, this guy is a stalwart phone booth type of guy. I mean, if he locks horns with you, good freaking luck. If he got, I mean, I'm big, but I'm not big like that. Like, he would crush me and pancake me with one hand. Like, I don't know, like nobody's business. But literally, once he gets his hands on you, you cannot disengage from that. Like, there is nothing you can do. All you got to do is pray, because it's game over. I'm telling you, it's game over. And so what I saw when he went up, like today, right? Like today he had one-on-one drills. Let me just pull it up for you, what he did today, right? He had, pull up my Twitter. All right, Lester Cotton won both one-on-one battles today versus Kendall Vickers and Vernon Butler. Both of the guys tried to bull rush him. And Lester Cotton wasn't going to be moved off his grass. He's like, no, not today. Not so fast, my friend, Lee Corso voice. And that was a horrible Lee Corso voice, but you guys get the picture. Lester Cotton, Roll Tide Roll. I'm a huge Roll Tide Roll fan, by the way. And so I'm very happy for him. We had a press conference with him. He's one of the guys that I'm really, really high on, simply because of how his backstory, right? The backstory of him, how he found, religious, faith in God, and how that kind of molded him into the guy he is today. And, that works for him, and I truly believe that it has. And I'm hopeful that he can continue this rise, because, man, like I talked to Josh McDaniels the other day. I was like, man, you're getting in players that nobody freaking wanted, man. And how are you getting the best out of them, right? Basically, well, iron sharpens iron, competition, right? It's all about competition, playing the smart way, being tough, being physical. And again, I went on Raider Nation Radio and I talked about this. When we talk about toughness, we're not talking about just simply tough physically. I'm talking about being mentally tough. Like, for instance, like if I was a coach, when I coached, which I did, right? When I coached football, I used kind of like the same tactics that Josh McDaniels did. Now, I'm not saying he's using it in that way, but I mean, anytime, is Alex Leatherwood starting, or why is he running with the 2s and 3s instead of the 1s? Well, let me tell you something. No one is safe, right? I don't care about your draft status. Perform on the field. No one is safe. Dylan Parham, you're not safe, even though you're our first pick in the 2022 NFL draft. No one is safe. The best players will play. And if you're GM Dave Ziegler, you are doing and formulating your best 5. I talked about this. Again, if you want to talk about the Raiders, you have to know about the other 31 other NFL teams. What's the cultural identity of the other 31 other NFL teams? Take, for example, GM of the Texans, Nick Caserio, comes from what? The Bill Belichick tree, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and peel back layers of the onion to get to the core, as I always like to say in my podcast, in my Pick 6 segments. Well, he likes to formulate what? The best 5. What does GM Dave Ziegler like to do? Formulate the best 5. All right. So when people say, "Oh, well, it's not the Patriot way. They're not the Patriots. We're doing the Raider way," I call it the winning way. You pick your best things that you learned from somebody and the best things that you learned from somebody else, and you formulate your own. That's what made freaking Al Davis the commitment to excellence. Yes, I was talking to my boy Cam and Will, and I read this. All right, I'm not joking. This is the media guide that we get for beat writers or people in the media, and I got my hands on one, and they gave it to me, and I was like, okay, well, instead of going to the gym, I'm going to be reading. And I tweeted this out. I literally did. And I walked in, and Cam's like, dude, how come? I was the first one in this morning, by the way, too. So I only got 3 hours of sleep. And so if you follow me on YouTube, you'd be like, dang, he really did only get 2 hours of sleep. So what I'm trying to say is, how does that translate to the Al Davis commitment to excellence? Well, let me tell you. All right. And I tweeted this stuff out there. Did you know that Al Davis formulated his Raiders vision for the team, right, based off 2 baseball teams? All right. The Dodgers and the Yankees. All right. The Dodgers and the Yankees. The Yankees were powerful. They're intimidating. He liked that home run. So if you want to put that in layman terms to football, it's that deep ball, right? And the Dodgers like to develop players. They like speed. So again, the Darius Hayward babe didn't work out. Okay. Drafted number 7 overall over Michael Crabtree, who was drafted number 10, I think. But who cares? Speed kills in the NFL, and it's true. So when you take that into account and you look at what Al Davis was doing, damn, he took the best of both worlds and the best of both teams, formulated his own. And then he doubled down on those gains, right, by taking the John Wooden approach, applying the full court press with what? Press, cover, cornerbacks, which we're going to talk about later in this podcast, because that's what I saw today in today's practice, teaching the technique of press cover. But again, you're seeing these little things. And the whole point of covering the team is so I can have a better grasp of not only the future, but the past as well. Because in order to formulate, you learn from the past in order to formulate the better future, right? Like if you're going to freaking cover a team, you better know how many Super Bowls they won. You better know what years they won them in. And you better know exactly the foundation of what the Raider way is all about. All right. So that's where I'm at. Salty, but thank you so much, Rocker Corey. Oh, you said that's what? Top 2. Sorry. So that was 1. Alex. I was going to say Alex Cotton. Oh my gosh. I need my coffee. Lester Cotton is 1. So that's 1 on offense. I'll give you 1 on offense. I'm going to throw out names that are probably like, whoa, like, are you being serious? Yes, I'm being serious. All right. The second one, I'm going to give it to you. All right. Defensive player. All right. This guy, to me, is a surprise player simply because I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl player, right? I'm really high on Trayvon Merrick. And I told Trayvon this when I interviewed him. I was like, bro, you had my first team rookie vote last year for all rookie team. I voted you in. I voted Nate Hobbs in. I was very transparent. I posted up on Twitter. I don't care. I like posting my stuff, right or wrong. If I get it wrong, I like calling myself out too. Like, dang, I got that one wrong. But rarely do I get things wrong. I'm just saying. But I do get it wrong from time to time because no one is God. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I like calling myself out when I get it wrong because it keeps me on my own toes. Like, I like competing with myself in the sense, like, dang, I'm a perfectionist. You guys, for United fans, you already know I know what I'm going with this. But once I get it wrong, I'm like, damn, how can I learn from this so I don't get it wrong next time when I scout this player, right? So, or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to what I'm seeing and all that, I think Trayvon Merrick is going to be a Pro Bowl player. Now, people are talking again, the lack of interception numbers. Like, I don't care so much about the interception numbers as I do playing sound discipline football. And I talked to Coach Simmons about it. What did you see in Trayvon Merrick? Because you played safety, right? You played safety. So what's the single most important thing for a free safety? It's like, oh man, like obviously intelligence, right? Getting people in pre-snap splits in their positions because they're the quarterback of the secondary. And this is something that I pointed out years ago, right? And I retweeted it because, again, if you're going to talk about one team, you better know about the dynamics of the other 31, right? So that's what I'm saying is, like, this team is trending in the right direction. They're saying all the right things and they're doing the right things. It's one thing to say the right things. Like, I can go up in a press conference and prep and be like, so are you guys going to be running a 3-4 defense? Of course, if I ask Coach Graham that, he's going to be like, hell to the no. We don't know. I don't know what we're running. All I know is we need guys that can cross function, that are smart, tough, physical. Right now, we're just working on installs, so we don't really know what's going on. We're just trying to find out the best players, the best 11, to formulate the best 11 on the field at any given play. Situational football doesn't matter. So we can play and you said this, we can play a 3-4, a 4-3, a 3-3-5, a 4-2-5. We can play a bear front. And people are like, what's the 46 bear front? Well, hey, I like the 46 bear front. I even wrote an in-depth article on the 46 bear front. It's not a 4-6 alignment. All right, just FYI. It's because number 46 was famous for the bear front. And you guys know who's on this staff? Rob Ryan, right? Rob Ryan is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best defensive assistants. I don't know. I think he's a steal. I think he's going to do wonders for the Las Vegas Raiders because he's very smart. And again, Buddy Ryan, his dad, invented the freaking bear front. What do? What's a bear front? Well, bear front is where you cover up the interior, right? So you have three interior linemen, all right? So it's basically like a 3-4 kind of deal. So you have 3 linemen and they all cover up the interior linemen. So center and both guards, right? And then the outside linebackers, their job is to box for spill, right? So they have to be able to set the hard edge so they can box the play back inside to their help, or they can spill it outside and make the play sideline to sideline on that far side using the sideline as an extra defender. And then that cornerback can be there too. But I mean, it's one of those things where if you're running against an outside zone team, like a zone blocking team, like the San Francisco 49ers, I would use the bear front all day if I had the players for it. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Tyler Lancaster on the Green Bay Packers and they used that bear front? I don't know. Was Rashawn Gary and a few on the edges outside with Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe that's what happened. Salty says, what are your thoughts on Nick Jur, young running back out of ASU? I don't have any thoughts on him, to be honest with you, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know too much about him, so I can't say one or the other. And again, I don't make up stuff just to make up stuff. Like, I'm not one of those guys that says, oh yeah, he's going to be a great player, man. Or he's going to be a crappy player. I really don't know. I'll be honest. There's so many players to grade and to judge on a weekly basis. And it's very difficult because you go in with a game plan. And every time and again, this is probably why I don't get sleep, because I have a set schedule, like with my workout gains. And for you guys know that I bodybuild. For our United fans and Raider fans who follow me recently, you guys know I bodybuild. That's part of my other 9-to-5. So really, it's not a 9-to-5. It's like a 24/7 job. But in order, sponsored by EVOGEN, we'll holler at your boy. That's why we're at EVOGEN. It's like, is this dude wearing the same freaking shirt? Does this guy ever take a shower? Oh my gosh. Yes. It's just, I have a lot of shirts and I'm like a walking billboard. I'm serious, not joking. But getting back to it. Yeah. I don't know too much about him, so I'm just going to reserve comment. But if you want me to get some more insight on him, I can go ahead and do that. Now, there's the running back position is kind of tricky, right? We talked about Josh Jacobs, And there are rumors about Josh Jacobs potentially being traded. I don't see that happening. I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to get traded. And the report, I said that even before my Aloha kickoff video. If you guys followed me on YouTube, every day I make an Aloha kickoff video going into the what I call the black gates at Raiders headquarters. And then I answer fans' questions, right, from the previous day or from that morning. And so people were saying, oh, what's going on with Josh Jacobs? Okay, well, I got to talk about freaking Josh Jacobs. Roll Tide roll. There's no way they're going to trade Josh Jacobs. And yes, they declined his 5th-year option. They did. All right. So that there is some validity in why he would potentially be moved on. But again, anytime you're trying to install a system, and again, it goes back to formulating the best 5 on the offensive line. It affects the offensive line just as much as it affects Josh Jacobs, because if you remove Josh Jacobs from the equation, and then that's going to put pressure on the offensive line, because if you played the game, communication is key along the offensive line. Now, I'm not talking about the center making the freaking calls on who the Mike linebacker is and all of that. Oh, this guy's coming on the tackle and stunt, so you got to watch that. Watch for this guy. Watch this, right? Oh, this guy's going to be blitzing, or this guy might come if this guy comes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you have a running back behind you and you know what he can do, and then you have someone brand new, like a tiny, shiny new running back that comes in, and you're like, you don't know if he's going to be dancing behind the backfield. You don't know if he's going to be that one cut back. You don't know if he has the patience to see the whole and let the whole develop. Because let me tell you, in the power-based run scheme, you have to be able to see the whole. In the zone blocking scheme, where it's the runs are already dictated for you. It's like, dude, okay, oh, here it is. Here's a lane. And alley there, right? Boom. Okay. Well, here's a lane. Ooh, right there. Oh, let's just cut back. Boom. Okay. There is no guesswork involved. Like, the hole is being blown up for you, if more times than not. In the power-based run scheme, it's mono combo reach blocks, right? Can you hit the backside seal gap, right? Can you hit the backside gap, right? Can you pull? Can you trap? These are things that you look for. Baltimore Ravens do it. The Pittsburgh Steelers do it, right? All these hard-nosed north-south teams do it. But at the end of the day, you have to have a running back who can play under that scheme. That's why Zamir White is perfect for the scheme. I like Zamir White. And again, I talked to Zamir White, Zeus. I'm going to call him Zeus. I mean, I always say nicknames are earned, not self-given. Just like I prefer being called Beast instead of Ryan. Nicknames are earned, never self-given, right? The fans gave me the name BEASTwriter because I was a beat writer, and they know me from my fitness gains. And then they called me BEASTwriter, and then BEASTwriter was born, and then EVOBEAST was born from EVOGEN. That's my code, EVOBEAST. And then Busy Fit Meals picked me up for sponsorships for food and meal prep, and now I was known as Busy Beast. So that's why I say nicknames are earned, never self-given. And Zeus talks about his game. And I asked him, I say, hey, if you could describe your game in one word, what would it be? And he said dominant, right? He said dominant. And he's not afraid of contact, right? The dude's not afraid of contact, has good contact balance. And the guy's fearless. And the guy's just a football player, right? When you talk about Zeus, he's a freaking football player. He's not going to give up and shy away from contact. That's not the right way, by the way. You don't cower out of bounds. You initiate pain. You go for the throat. That's what you do, right? You don't cower out of bounds. I see so many running backs get scared and they just try to run out of bounds. Like, dude, lean, go, fight for those extra yards. Show that you want to be on the field, man. And yes, you got to be smart about it, because obviously if you're going up against a game tackle or something like that, then yeah, that's a different story. Or if there's time clock management involved, of course, you're going to want to go out of bounds. But you guys get the picture. When it comes to Josh Jacobs, he's a player that he's going to be too valuable. He's going to put up 1,600 scrimmage yards. I mean, he's good. He's really good. He can have like 13, 14 touchdowns. I'm just saying. Rushing plus receiving. If you're playing fantasy football, you're going to want Josh Jacobs, because Josh Jacobs is going to be the workhorse. And again, Zamir White's going to be trickled in, obviously, because he's going to be the future next year. My opinion, I think he's going to be the featured back next year, because the Patriot way or the Raider way, how do you want to say it? They can find backs in later rounds and on cheaper deals, right? So you kind of figure out what they did over the time, the blueprint, right? Now watch me be wrong and watch them. Oh, they just extended Josh Jacobs to a 5-year, $80 million deal. No, I'm joking. It would be kind of crazy though, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's a pass happy NFL league, and a lot of times Josh McDaniels runs out of empty set formations, right? So what does that utilize? The slot wide receiver, which makes Hunter Renfrow, in my opinion. And this is not throwing shade at any other wide receiver, including Davante Adams. But Davante Adams is going to get the focal point of the attention. He's going to be triple teamed, whatever the case may be. Triple team, double team. They're going to roll over coverage that way. It doesn't matter. But Hunter Renfrow is going to be the X factor. And to me, he might be I'm just going to say it. He's going to be the team's leading receiver in receptions, the leading receiver in yards, and the leading receiver in touchdowns. All those three. He's going to be the Triple Crown winner on this team. And that's not saying that Davante Adams isn't going to have a better year, because he certainly can. He certainly can. But at the end of the day, because he's taking so much attention off, Davante Adams makes others better by default, because you have to focus so much attention on him. So if you're a defense and you say, hey, I'm going to play a cover 3 or a cover 1, good luck. Because you have Darren Waller down the seams. You have Hunter Renfrow working the underneath routes. You can do a lot of window shopping. Davante Adams, you have speed on the outside with Mac Hollins, right? You can have him run a go route between the 20s and take away that safety or take away that cornerback. That leaves what? The speed outs open. So then you have Foster Moreau. He can run across a shallow crossing dig or an in cut, whatever the case may be. The options are endless. And then we haven't even talked about Josh Jacobs coming out of the flat. Oh my gosh. Like, this is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Good luck. Good luck. Jacob Grubb says, great stuff, Beast. Jacobs will not be traded. If people looked at the Patriots, they would notice they played starters in the preseason. They played stars in the preseason a ton. Brady would play first half in some games in 2018. That is very true. That is very true. And I can say that is 100% fact. And again, I like talking about all 32 NFL teams because, again, it's how I formulate my analysis. And again, it doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it worse. It's just different. Like, it's just a different, fresh perspective, because the way I like to do business is, again, if I'm going to criticize a player or praise a player, I better have the respect of the player to at least grade every single snap. Every single snap, not just YouTube highlights, not just reading box scores. Don't be a box score reader. Like Maxx Crosby, when he sat up there, and the question was asked, "Oh, are you upset at not getting sacks? Are you worried about that?" And he's like, "No." Why? Because pressure rate can be just as valuable as a sack. In fact, it could be more valuable than a sack, and I'll tell you why. A pressure can end up in a turnover by forcing the ball downfield and double coverage, and that leads to an INT. Would you rather have a sack or an INT? For me, in my grading system, a guy, well, I'm not going to show you my algorithm, but a guy who forces pressure that creates an INT, that's going to get a better, higher grade on that rep count than the guy who picks up a sack. Turnovers matter. Let me tell you something. You win time of possession, you win ball control, and you win the turnover battle, odds are you're going to win that freaking football game. So yes, that's going to count highly in my grading system. Of course it is. Because again, it's all about taking away the bottle. Oh yeah, let's just call it taking away the bottle like a baby. We're taking away the bottle and we're winning the time of possession, not giving the bottle back. All right? Taking away the bottle. My gosh. Salty says, thank you for your honesty. Completely understandable. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Mahalo for the love. Keith Brown says, do we have anything to be worried about when it comes to Anthony Averett, Amik Robertson, and Waller missing multiple practices? Look, I wouldn't be too concerned now because, again, this is my 10th year covering a training camp, and I think they'll be ready when training camp rolls around. I'm not sure how all the players are going to be ready by the time training camp rolls around, but I will say this. I will say I would be oddly shocked if the majority of the players were not active week 1. Just saying. Aside from Brandon, don't ask me a Brandon Parker question because you guys know what I feel about Brandon Parker. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know because I haven't heard anything here. There's nothing here, and there's nothing on the injury report, and we get the injury report obviously. So yeah, I'm just saying. So I don't know. I'm not, and who knows? Who knows what's going on? Keith Brown says, "Sorry, how you doing, Biz? I'm doing good, man. How are you doing? Roker Corey, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Zeus, Gonna run over fools reminds me of Chubb, kind of. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it. My man Maruna, thank you so much for the super chat and super sticker. I appreciate the love. He said, send you love from 49er family. Thank you. I appreciate the love, Maruna. And I wouldn't be here with all you guys in my corner. Look, I get DMs left and right now. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's like almost like, I don't know how to explain it. Like night and day. Like, some people like all upset. Like, oh my gosh, you joined the dark side. How could you leave us like that? And then those other Niner fans have been like, yo, I'm not even a freaking Raider fan, but I love so I'm going to follow you because I play fantasy football and I need to know what's going on. And I play this, I play that, or I just want to know your grading system because that's fire, right? I'm literally some guy, who was it, Jeff? Some guy on Instagram, right, texted me. He's like, and this is kind of going way overboard because this comparison is definitely off. I feel like I'm more like a Sarunas Marshalonis comparison than a Stephen Curry comparison. But he said, losing you to the Raiders is like the Minnesota Timberwolves not drafting Steph Curry. That was funny. I thought that was hilarious. But getting back to it, and I got to find it for you guys, but getting back to it, yeah, man, I just love everything that's going on. I just love everything that's going on. And yeah, he says, I'm dying seeing you working. See, it's right here. It is right here. He says, I'm dying seeing you working for the Silver and Black. I grew up in Oakland, always a Niner fan. I'd watch the Raiders too, but had zero interest once they moved to LA. Now you know how Eric Branch feels. You guys should swap. He is a lifelong Raiders fan. I didn't even know Eric Branch, who's my coworker or former coworker with the 49ers, was a Raiders fan. I had no idea. But I like to think like I'm just a fan of the NFL. I just have a passion for football, and no matter what team I'm covering or what team I'm talking about, I like to think I can have no drop off in production. If you want to talk about the AFC West, let's do it. Like, for instance, let's talk about Juan Thornhill. Is he going to get it done this year, right? Coming from Virginia Tech, right? I liked him coming out. He had the height, weight, speed. He had the measurables coming out. I really liked that they drafted him, right? If I remember correctly, I believe it was in the second round, late second round is when the defensive back started to come off the board. And, Daniel Sorensen was plugged in there for a little bit, but he kind of struggled later on. And then they lose Juan Thornhill. And then they used the Honey Badger, who likes my grading system. He likes my grading system. And Honey Badger, if you're watching, holla at your boy. But no, they lose the heart and soul of the defense. Usually the heart and soul of the defense is the Mike linebacker, or if, someone like on the line or someone defensive in the middle of the action. But the Honey Badger was the heart and soul of that Chiefs defense. It wasn't Frank Clark. It wasn't Jones. It was the Honey Badger. And you can see that swagger that he brought to the table in the forefront. Now, there's people who are saying, oh, man, like he lost this. I was like, I don't see that in my grades, man. I really don't. Strong safety, free safety, he graded number 1 in my grading system. All right. And you compare that and you stick with the AFC West to guys like Justin Simmons, right? Eddie Jackson for the Chicago Bears, right? Coming from Roll Tide Roll, right? You look at all these safeties, Trayvon Merrick, right? If you want to talk about these safeties, Adrian Amos, all these safeties that we can talk about, right, around the league, Jimmy Ward, right? You look at exactly what the schemes are, but then at the same time, what they bring to are they scheme diverse or are they scheme dependent? That's a huge difference too. Because, like, for instance, like Derwin James, he's scheme dependent. He's not scheme diverse. Or sorry, he's scheme diverse. He's not scheme dependent. He can do a lot of different things, right? You can line him up at the slot. He can take on the running back coming out flat. He can cover the tight end down the seams. He can play back. I mean, the guy he's a beast, right? We all know Derwin James is a beast. You look at other guys around the league, like Buda Baker, same thing, right? Is he a strong safety or is he a free safety, right? He can do both. He's interchangeable. You see him climbing up the line of scrimmage, but he can also peek back as a single high safety, right? So then you have, the traditional box safety, like the Jamal Adams, right? Jamal Adams is a traditional box safety. Like, you can exploit that, right? You can exploit Jamal Adams, right? If it's a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 4, I don't give a thing. He's not going to be able to protect the sticks because he doesn't have the fluid hips to cover. I would create that mismatch on that side of the formation and do a lot of window shopping to create a favorable matchup on one side, and just tell that wide receiver, hey, run a hitch, run a quick slant. I don't care what you do, but just get separation off the. I don't care if you're short of the sticks, because he's going to be a step behind. And by the time he tackles you, you just have to fall forward for the first down. And that's nothing to take away from Jamal Adams. I like Jamal Adams. I do. But he is a traditional box safety. When you look at guys coming out of the draft, right, you want to find safeties who are they traditional box safeties or are they not? And so that's one thing that I look for when I do a grading system, because, again, coaching staffs change. But what doesn't change is the player. Is he a scheme fit? And that's the term is he a scheme fit? If you're playing a guy, a team and you play cover 2, cover 4, okay, so be it. But if you're playing a cover 1 or cover 3, and that safety cannot be the single high safety, then he shouldn't be in the game. But then, okay, then you can put him in the box. Then he's not going to be good in pass coverage. So then you can exploit that one way or the other. So there's no way around it. Like, you have to be interchangeable to do both. You can't be a Steve Atwater. You can't be who was in years past. It's just Tim McDonald. Okay, for you Niner fans, number 46, right, coming from the Phoenix Cardinals. I think they were at the time. They weren't the Arizona Cardinals. They're the Phoenix Cardinals. You can't be a traditional box safety anymore. You have to be able to do both. And I think when you look at teams around the league, you're looking for that hybrid type of a safety, right? And we talk about this hybrid, right? This hybrid type of a player. And I think that's what you look for when you talk about the Raiders and how they're cross-functioning players, because they want to see what you can do. And I said this on Raider Nation Radio. If you're going to make an impact, any young player who's on the bubble right now, make an impact on special teams. If you're good on blocking, try to be the personal protector. If you're good at taking angles and taking proper angles to the ball carrier and cutting down false steps and making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage or at the catch point, then go ahead and try to be that gunner. I'm just saying, if you have speed and speed kills and you can get downfield in a hurry, make the statement on special teams, man. I know people think that that's a demotion. Trust me, it's not a demotion, man. You're here to make the team, and the more you can do, the more valuable you're going to be, especially here at Raider Way. All right. Robert Pena says, thumbs up. I apologize again for my type error. Oh, it's all good, man. I have typo errors all the time too. Roker Corey says, proud of cotton. All right. So what else we got here? We got Keith Brown says, do we have anything to be worried about when it comes to, oh no, we don't. We don't have anything to be worried about. Not in my estimation, but now watch me be wrong. Keith Brown says, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Roker says, Zeus going to run over fools. Reminds me of Chubb kind of. Yeah, he does. Nick Chubb, top 5 running back. Nick Chubb is a top 5 running back. I don't care what anyone says. He's a top 5 running back. And the Georgia product is a top 5 running back. Georgia freaking turns out freaking running backs, right? Garrison Hurst, Rodney Hampton, right? Herschel Walker. Didn't Herschel Walker go to Georgia? If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong on that one. Did Herschel Walker go to Georgia? Where did he go? I thought he went to Georgia. I don't know. I know he got traded. That big old trade with the Minnesota Vikings. All right. So Jamie says, listening in from work, aloha from Honolulu. Hey, aloha, Jamie. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. Appreciate the love, man. Thank you for tuning in. And we got some questions. We're just going to go ahead and again, we're going to keep it hot here. And again, we're going to talk about formulating the best 5. We talked about practice. Let's talk about practice. Not a game. We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. Allen Iverson voice, who, by the way, is my favorite player of all time. When I saw that was hilarious. But okay, getting back to the Raider way being fundamentally sound. This is something that I've seen time and time again. Every time I go back to my first practice here, and I'm like, man, these guys are really, really harping fundamentals, and I love it. Like, I don't see that very often. You don't see the lost art, right? And I put up an article on it, on the lost art of fundamentals, right? And you're not going to get that with this coaching staff under Josh McDaniels under no way, shape, or form. Because I talked about on Raider Nation Radio, in order to run, you have to learn how to walk. In order to walk, you have to learn how to crawl. So there's baby steps in installs and processing exactly what you're being taught to do. Because you guys got to remember, a lot of these guys are coming in the college game. They're taught different techniques. So when you grade a player in the NFL as opposed to a guy in college, you don't know what they're being taught in college, right? Were they supposed to spill the play outside just because they're supposed to spill the play outside and not get their outside shoulder covered up? Or were they supposed to 2-gap it or set a hard edge and flush it back inside? See, we don't know these things. What you look for is the intangibles, right? The NFL traits that you look for in prospects, and you can kind of project at that level. Now, what's really good about scouting is you really get a good sample size toward the end of the year. You know, the SEC championship game, the college football playoff, where you see apples to apples comparison. You see a freaking Alabama going up against I don't know, Montana State or something. It's like, dang, dude, like how many points is Alabama going to win by? Like 65? Like, not joking. This game could be over by midway through the first quarter. 21-0. Punt return here, blocked punt here, return for a touchdown there. Bam. All right. San Ho Raider says, can Hobbs be that corner? Yes, absolutely. And I talked about it with Hobbs, and I said, you know what? You played a lot last year in your rookie year, transitioning to year two. Again, as we talk about year one to year two, what have you learned playing boundary cornerback? Because, again, there's different techniques being taught based on scheme and cover shells and so forth. And when it really comes down to is spacing, because when you play on the boundary, you have the sideline as an extra defender. Now, that all depends on if you're playing with inside or outside leverage, of course. But when you take that into account and you really put two and two together and you say, okay, if I'm not talking about winning half man, all right, just for layman's terms, just playing square up, right? You look at the fundamentals. And again, I talk about this. Does he stay square at the line of scrimmage? Does he have patient feet? Does he have a strong cadence in his back pedal? Does he not open his hips up too early, right? Because when you do that, you're susceptible to what? Getting turned around and flipped around. And then do you have the genetic makeup speed to go ahead and get that second gear and make a play on the football? Do you have the fundamentals once you're beat to recover? Do you have the fundamentals once you're in a trail position, stay on the hip of receiver, but not get too vertical, which I'm going to talk about because I've seen that they're practicing this, not get too vertical upfield. Because why? Because if that wide receiver comes back on a hitch or play side hitch or come back, it's going to be an easy completion. So you don't want to get too far up or too far back. You want to stay just on the hip, right? Near hip of the receiver and kind of mirror him that way. All right. So these are things that I look for when you look at the boundary quarterback. And then we can talk about hand placement coming off a jam. If you're playing, well, let's face it. If you're playing a cover two shell, right, and you're playing press man coverage, odds are it's going to be a cover two shell. Rarely do you see off zone coverage in the cover two. I mean, yeah, you can, not really. Well, it depends on distance. I take that back. No, you do see it, but more times than not, you would see a cover two press zone coverage, right? So if you're playing a cover two press zone coverage, you got to use what? Good hand placement, right? Do you jam with the proper hand, right? Do you jam with the proper hand or not? And if you miss and whiff, that wide receiver is going to get inside leverage, or is he going to stack you and then go over the top? Literally, that's what happens. The receiver will try to stack you once you miss. Once you try to hit that jam in, he's going to roll over, try to stack you on top, gain inside or outside leverage, and now you're playing from behind. And there's no way. If you're Devontae Adams, good luck. The guy's 6'3", 225 pounds. And if you're freaking 5'8", 5'10", 185, 205 pounds listed, I don't know. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance, especially if you have a good quarterback that throws it only to where the receiver can catch it. Outside the numbers where that safety can't even provide help because he's playing what? MOF, middle of the field, and he's not fast enough. Good luck. Keith Brown says, fantastic, brother. Definitely love your channel. Subscribe after watch the first 50 seconds of your show. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you love my show because I like my show. No, I just love talking football. I honestly, my parents keep asking me, I'm sure they're watching right now. They're like, how do you talk so much about football? Like, how do you keep going? And it's like, I don't know. I literally, as you guys can tell, stuff just comes through my head. There's endless things to talk about. I mean, we could talk about the 2023 NFL draft right now. I am not kidding you. We can talk about Jalen Carter, who I think is going to be a stud. And I already tweeted this out. When I was watching game film, see, here we go. When I was watching game film of Georgia, running game grades, Nakobe Dean, if you're watching, Nakobe Dean is my boy, by the way, legit my boy. And Raiders should have gotten Nakobe Dean. No. But when I graded, my boy Nakobe Dean, when I graded Jordan Davis, when I graded all these different players, Quay Walker, right, who I thought was going to be drafted. I predicted to be drafted by the Packers. And people, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Scheme fit. But anyways, getting back to it, when you look at these defensive players, Darian Kendrick, who I really liked, although he was in Dabo Swinney's Love Shack. I don't know why Dabo Swinney calls it a Love Shack before he transferred to Georgia. Doghouse, Love Shack, whatever. Dude, You're in the doghouse, whatever. But he went from one doghouse to another. I see what I did there. But when you have DK on the back end and you watch these different players and up front, and then you look at a guy like Jalen Carter, who's a sophomore, and he flashes out on film, and then you double down on that, and you're watching, and then you turn your attention. That'll be the first 4 hours. And the next 4 hours, I'm running grades on the Chicago Bears, and I'm saying, okay, how's Gibson doing? How's Jalen Johnson doing? How's Khalil Mack doing? How's Tevin Jenkins doing? I'm just joking. Ouch. Too soon? You got to look at it and be like, hey, Jalen Carter's standing out just like Bilal Nichols was standing out. Bilal Nichols is a stud. And everybody was asking me about Bilal Nichols. Check my beast receipts, man. I'm telling you right now, Bilal Nichols, perfect. 2-year, $11 million, a steal. I'm telling you, Bilal Nichols is going to be a beast. He's a monster. He's a space eater. He can two-gap. And he can peek an ID in the backfield. It's one thing to two-gap and not be able to stack after your shed. Or shed after your stack, I should say. Right? It's one thing to just hold the guy, but you have to be able to disengage and make a play. Or at least provide help back so your second-level backer can go ahead and make a play. Because in that 34 base two-gap scheme, which I think Coach Graham's going to be using. Now, watch me be wrong. But no, whether it's a two-gap or a one-gap scheme, you still have to be able to stack and shed. Right? You can't just be able to stack. Like, that's pointless. Like, and there's so many defensive linemen that are unable, once they lock horns with the offensive linemen, they can't disengage. They can't get to the ball carrier. And it's like, what the hell is the point of that? At least do something. Move him off his spot at least. Like, come on. The second level backer is probably like, dude, you're just wasted space. And you see it after the play. They're like, you see them going back to the huddle like, dang, man, like, he ain't it. He ain't it. Keith Brown says, yes, Walker did go to Georgia. I'm a big fan of Georgia there now. Oh, see, I was right. All right. LBU and running back. Yeah, LBU, linebacker U, and running back U. LBU because of Roquan Smith, holla. And then they also have guys like, obviously, Nakobe Dean. Yeah, Georgia has some hogs, man. My man, what's up, G? Says Herschel and Garrison Hurst sent to Georgia. Go Dot. My man, see, he's a Niner fan, by the way. And he found me on YouTube and we became good friends from YouTube. Not joking. We became good friends from YouTube. What's up, G? This is all about good vibes only. So I'm all about, I don't care what we have. By the way, just FYI, we have Chiefs fans in here. We have Packers fans. What else we have? Cowboys, Steelers fans, obviously, because I covered Steelers back in 2019. Also, Cardinals, covered Cardinals before, along with the Niners. All this was along with the Niners. There's so many teams that Carolina Panthers are a big one here. Falcons. But I know it's random, right? There's some random freaking fans in here, but they love like just talking football. Like, I feel like I'm at a bar with you and just talking football with you. I wish literally we can just have like people have a round table and just talk football. But this is great. This is great. This is my first live stream right from Raiders headquarters. I'm in Raiders headquarters right now. This is basically the room that I'm in. And right over here is where the media workroom is. So when I post these videos up, this is the side room where people can come in and do live shows or get their podcasting out of the way before they go home. And I think that's what I'm going to start doing, because once I get home, I tell you what, I'm really exhausted and I got to hit a 4-hour workout. It's funny because EOS always takes care of me off of St. Rose Parkway, and they just see me. They're like, dude, I just saw your YouTube's like live stream and videos, and like, how are you like here right now and functioning? I was like, dude, I have no freaking clue. I was like, I'm not even, to be honest with you, I'm like, dude, I just have the mindset of like the beast mentality, just like do whatever if I can and just get it done. Because no one's going to care, right? No one's going to feel sorry for you. No one's going to freaking be like, oh, poor beast, like he can't do. No one's going to give a crap. They'd be like, oh, just take a day off. No days off. There's no days off. I had this conversation with a good friend of mine the other day, and he says, one thing about you, he's like, you're always on that grind. Like your work ethic is bar none. I say, I get it from my mom, right? My mom and dad. My parents have the strongest work ethic. And I think that was instilled in me at a young age is like, you have to work and earn everything, right? Nothing is given, everything is earned, right? And so that's what I try to take take with me is like, you know, when they pass, I can go ahead and be like, you know what, like there's certain things I can learn from them and I can continue their legacy, right? What's their legacy, right? And so like part of their legacy would be like instilling a strong work ethic, of course, of treating others how you would like to be treated. That's another one. That's another big one. And so when you do these things, it really resonates with a lot of people because a lot of people have good work ethics. A lot of people have really good work ethics. But do you have an unquestioned work ethic? Do you do what others don't want to do? Do you stay up late to watch game film? Do you really grade every single snap? Or do you take one snap off? Oh, no, they're not going to know the difference if I take half a quarter off. For me, I'm going to run that grade. I'm going to run that grade all the way through. I don't care how long it takes me. I don't care if there's lag time on that frame rate. I don't give a damn. I'm going to freaking run that grade because for me, it's all about being a perfectionist in every sense of the word. I am a perfectionist. I like doing things the right way the first time. And if I get it wrong, I'm pissed at myself. No one's harder on me than myself. And I think that's something that I have to deal with, but it is what it is. I think that's why I'm the way I am. And people know that. People know that, like, okay, like when I compete and I lose a show, like you can see on my face, like I'm pissed off. Not because I'm a sore loser, my hat's off to the winner, but it's like I'm just like, and people who say winning does not matter in bodybuilding, it freaking matters. That's why they give you a trophy. Like that's just like, I'm just saying winning does freaking matter. Like it matters. Just like, oh, winning doesn't matter. Like, when kids play sports, like when I was a kid growing up and I played freaking basketball, football, or baseball. Yes, it matters. Then why keep score? Why keep score? Just turn off the scoreboard if it doesn't matter. And it's like, well, winning isn't everything, but it's like, well, losing isn't fun. Like, have you seen Game Changers on Disney Plus? What's his name? I forgot the guy's name, the main character. He's like, Mom, like, it's not fun getting your ass kicked. Like, for real, it's not fun getting your ass kicked. Like, I don't want to get my ass kicked. Now, obviously, it depends on the age group. Obviously, if you're just learning, that's a different story, obviously. But for me, I was always on the, maybe that's a competitiveness in me. Like, I always like to compete. I would get in like arguments with my family members over Thanksgiving and Christmas when we have like play games. I would literally get mad at like my cousins who are like 4 years old if they beat me. It's just a competitive, I don't know. I have a competitive drive that's unknown to mankind. It's kind of crazy. And then I'd be in a pissy move. I remember playing Nintendo 64. Rochelle, if you're watching this, and Laura, when Nintendo 64 came out, we were playing Smash Brothers and they beat me. I was freaking pissed off, man. I was like, dude, I would not talk to him for like a week. And they stayed at my house. I didn't talk to him for the rest of the week. I was so mad. Our own Singh says, oh, what's up, my brother? I still miss you not talking about it my 9. I'm telling you, I'm getting so many text messages from 9 times, good and bad. There's some people upset, but it's okay. It's okay. Good vibe only. Roker Corey says, if you could have dinner with one Raider, who would it be? That's a good question. If I could have dinner with one Raider. Now, is it a player or is it a coach? Is it a player? Is it a coach? That's what I want to know. If it's a coach, I want to sit down with Josh McDaniels. I want to sit down with Coach McDaniels and pick his brain on what like makes his offense go, what makes his team go. That's what I want. I would say Josh McDaniels, head coach McDaniels, because he's the guy that makes the engine go. GM Dave Ziegler too. But if you said player or coach, I would say head coach Josh McDaniels. If you just said a player, oh, go on. Devontae Adams, because he's from East Palo Alto. I'm from the Bay Area, so we have Bay Area rooted ties, and I would say Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams would be it for me because, I covered him. In fact, I have a good story about Devontae Adams at his 2014 local pro day at Levi Stadium. All right, it was raining that day, and here's a Devontae Adams story. So I'm out there in the rain, right, with the other beat writers, right? It's pouring rain on this day. All right, it's back in 2014, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2014, coming out of Fresno. And so it was raining this day, and I was like, man, I was the first one in. I was like, I'm going to get Devontae Adams. Like, that's who I want. Because if you know, they needed a freaking wide receiver at that time, right? So I was like, oh, man, I hope they get Davante Adams, right? Like I want to get this guy. I want to ask certain questions. I had it all planned out. Like, oh, I'm going to go in, right? It's raining. I'm like, I don't care. We go out to the practice field, right? 49ers local pro day. Never forget this. GM Trent Baalke standing next to Davante Adams. It's pouring rain, right? 3 quarters, 95% of the beat writers just go in. They just dip. They're like, I want to do this tomorrow. So they go out, they go inside, and then GM Trent Baalke just looks at me. I'm like the lone one standing there's like, I see a tough guy in here. And Davante Adams looks at me and just like, who the heck are you talking to? And of course, I'm small. I'm short. I'm only 5'5". So Davante Adams was like, who the heck are you talking to, bro? Probably thought he was talking to Davante Adams, but it was me standing in the rain with no umbrella. I was drenched in rain because I was like, I hope I can get Davante Adams after this. And my paper's all wet and stuff. I'm like, oh man. And didn't get Davante Adams. Sucked. So hopefully I can get Davante Adams. True story. Not joking. It was raining that day. All right. Smooth R says, Raiders, do your thing, Beast. Stay up. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the love. You have been nothing and showing me nothing but love. All you guys have been awesome, man. I really appreciate it. He says, do you think we are okay with roster, or do we always need more? Hey, we always need more. The Raiders always need more. Never be complacent with your current roster, and here's why. The time you like be complacent is the time you're going to lose that edge, right? It's like if you're complacent and you're like, oh man, I made it to the top of the mountain. Hey man, let me tell you something. That mountain, you ain't gonna be at the top for long because there's people that are just gunning for you, bro. So you got to climb the higher mountain, right? You got to keep upping one up. And I talked about this on my YouTube live stream, or not YouTube, sorry, my YouTube video, or my Aloha kickoff video earlier this morning, my first video that I made. I talk about, inspiration and being inspirational, but then also like my work ethic and what it takes to the work-life balance. Like sometimes there is no work-life balance. If you want to be at the top, you have to sacrifice something to gain something. I keep talking about that. You want to look like a bodybuilder, you're going to have to sacrifice friends. You're going to have to sacrifice family time. You're going to have to sacrifice being a relationship sometimes for the sake of this look. Like you don't understand, like for instance, right? Like a lot of times, and I tweeted this out, a lot of times I eat alone, right? When I used to bodybuild, because at the end of the day, it's like, no one wants to eat with you because what do you have? Oh, can I have the at Texas Roll? Can I have the prime rib or the ribeye? Yeah, but no seasoning. Okay. And then can I have the leanest cut? And then also, can I get the vegetables? But like, no, I don't want any seasoning on that either. Just steamed. It's just steamed. And then can I get hot water with lemon? Literally, everybody knows this one. Can I get hot water with lots of lemon? And so now it's funny. So like, no one's going to be like, dude, I'm not the type of dude that brings out the scale though. Okay. I'm not that bad. Although I'm borderline that bad if I'm on prep, but you're going to have to give up something to gain something. It's all about sacrifice. And again, when I talk about work ethic and iron sharpens iron and get this team's identity on the right track, if you're Josh McDaniels, if you're Coach McDaniels, you GM Dave Ziegler, if you're Coach Lombardi, if you're Coach Simmons, if you're Coach Clemens, if you're Lenny McGill, a scout, national scout, right? If you're these guys and you're trying to formulate the best roster you can possibly find, why not try to improve the roster? Look, if you have 5 offensive linemen who are all Pro Bowlers, I wouldn't care. If I can get an all-pro offensive lineman, I would throw in the offense. Why not? Why not? And so be it if it's at a position that's not a need. I hate teams that reach for need because you diminish the value of the pick. And that's why these teams that draft poorly, GM Jay Ziegler, thankfully, not one of them, but although it's a small sample size, but that's not the Patriot way or Raider way or whatever my case may be. But again, you look at the players and the teams that draft poorly year in and year out, and I graded them. Obviously, go check the Beast receipts on YouTube, and I call it out. Tevin Jenkins, I thought that was a bad pick. Here we are today. Atlanta Falcons, I say who they should have got. Javonte Williams. Here we are today. They needed a running back. Why not go after Christian Barmore? Okay, if not Javonte Williams, you should have got Christian Barmore. It's on my YouTube receipts. I can't say I didn't say it. It's all posted. I said, Christian Barmore, man, my grading system. Oh, you have a grading system. In real time, oh, you have a grade. Okay, who has the last left now? Fast forward to today. Just saying. I am just saying, man, like, look, if you do the legwork on if you watch a lot of film, you're going to be a smarter man for it. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If you watch a lot of film, you're going to be a smarter man for it. You just have to know what to look for. And more times than not saying I know what to look for or I know what to look for all the time. I don't. But I'm saying if you just watch film just as a casual fan, you're going to be more in tuned than most people. All right, Keith Brown said, I'd say Devontae Adams because I've met him multiple times and know him since we were in high school. We were both from, oh, you're from East Palo Alto too? Okay, you're by the IKEA. You buy the IKEA, bro. And, which by the way, love that IKEA. That's the only IKEA by our house. So you're from EPA. That's what's up, bro. You're Bay rooted. I feel you. Okay. We got some Bay people. And again, Jeff, my good friend, I just talked to him on the phone earlier. He's like, dude, you're going to be like, you're hitting 3 demographics. You're hitting Oakland, you're hitting LA, now you're hitting Vegas, and you still have the Bay Area fans that follow you who are Niner fans, which is true. It's crazy. I'm really excited to know where this is headed because I really don't know where it's headed. All I know is I'm just going to work my ass off, and whatever happens, happens. I'm using the Josh Jacobs approach. Everything will take care of itself. But sometimes it's not always what you want because at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control. True story? True story. All right, so don't worry about the small stuff. Just keep grinding and you will get noticed. And, which by the way, huge announcement. I will be working with a casino and that will be coming up shortly. I will let you guys know what casino. I'll be doing a live stream at that casino. And I don't know how they found me, but apparently they found me and it's one of the bigger casinos. So I'm really happy about that. I don't know how that happened, but hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Holla at your boy. So we're going to see nothing's official. Again, it's all talk until it really happens, but big things are coming and hopefully it goes as planned. Now watch it not go as planned. No, I'm just joking with you. It's just, you never know how this is all going to play out, really, to be honest with you. And when I say bigger casino, I'm really joking. Don't take me seriously. But there is a casino that I am working with. I don't know how big they are because I'm so new to the area. But, I mean, I know how many casinos are here, to be honest with you. There's like a casino on every block, it seems like. There's South Point, right? Isn't South Point a casino? I think it's a casino. I don't know. South Point's a casino. I heard they have good I was on the plane flying back from Raiders headquarters and she's like, oh yeah, they have the best Reuben sandwich. And I was like, what the hell's a Reuben? I never had a Reuben sandwich before. Literally, that was like 2 weeks ago. I came back last week, drove back here, got the Reuben sandwich. I was like, it's all right. I was like, this is what the hype was about. I was more happy about the cheeseburger and the hot dog than I was the Reuben sandwich. I was like, man, if I get comped a Reuben sandwich, I don't care about this Reuben sandwich. I care more about the cheeseburger. People will be like, oh, that's the best Reuben sandwich ever. But is it? I don't know. I can't gauge because there's only one Reuben sandwich that I ever had in my life. All right. Robert Pena says, did you see Crosby brawl? Yes, I did. We're going to go ahead and talk about that. So I'll be honest, I caught the tail end of it, but from what I gathered was I didn't see anything crazy. I just saw a scrum. Like, just a scrum. Like, it wasn't like, now if they're throwing haymakers, that's a different story. I didn't see any of that. I am not saying it happened or it didn't happen because I didn't catch that part of it. All right. So I don't know. I did see the tail end of it, and not meaning the very end of it. I mean, the middle of it. And all I saw was a scrum. 2 guys go down, and that was it. And players breaking it up. Coach Brasillo breaking it up. And that was it. But I'll tell you what, I did like Dylan Parham showing a nasty mean streak there. Like, he ain't back down. Because you guys all know, if you guys watch the press conference, he's a soft-spoken guy. He's a soft-spoken dude, very, very polite. And very, very, he seems like a gentle giant, if you will, right? Like, I don't know, a lot of offensive linemen I've interviewed over the years and got to know over the years, like Anthony Davis, like he was like a gentle giant, very quiet, soft-spoken, right? For the San Francisco 49ers, number 76, coming out of Rutgers University, who I believe, wasn't Chris Ash the head coach there during that time? I don't know. But that was back in 2010 That was a 2010 draft when they had Mike Upati, number 17th overall, the throwing Samoan. And then I really wanted them to get Earl Thomas, but I think he went 13th overall to the Seattle Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken. 2010 draft. 2010 draft? Yeah, that was the same draft as Blaine Gabbert. And, right? Wasn't Blaine Gabbert in 2010? Or was Blaine Gabbert 2011? I think Blaine Gabbert was 2010. Oh, no, what was it? I don't know. Can't remember. Anyways, a long time ago. Wow. But no, I did see the fight. I didn't see anything crazy. I tweeted this out. I just saw a scrum. Like, there was anything like, oh my gosh, like they're throwing haymakers. Like, for real, like, honestly, if you even had, like, you have a freaking helmet on, like, how much damage can you do? Like, unless you're Bruce Lee or something, and can be like, bing, and like hit the guy in the eyeballs and stuff, and you don't have Eric Dickerson like goggles on or something like that, then it'd be like, okay, there's something there. But like, there was nothing there. There's that I saw. I didn't see anything there, to be honest with you. All right. So we have David. We have more people in here. What else we got? Okay. Wow. Do you think we're all right? Here we got the answers. Roker says, you got this, man. Just keep grinding. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the love and support. We got some questions here. Now, this is YouTube right now. And then we got some questions. Again, I'm going to be scrolling back and forth, so bear with me for a second in terms of what we're going to be doing. So let's look over and switch to Facebook as hella. Okay, I'm not going to get all to... Well, I'm supposed to. Am I saying this live? Like I'm supposed to? Gosh dang it. So this is live, BEASTwriter. Did you know we're live? We're live right now. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out where to start. It's not like it's... I wasn't expecting this many. It's not like it's 1,000 or 100 or anything like that. It's like more like 25, but they're coming from different groups. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. All right, here's a question. This is actually a good one. You said that Meek Robinson, you said you were high on Meek Robinson. What makes you think that he's going to be able to get it done this year and be successful in this defense? That's a good question. I always thought he had the technique. I always thought he had the swagger, and I tweeted this out in my pre-draft analysis coming out of Louisiana Tech, which, by the way, La Tech, Vernon Butler, La Tech, Quentin Patton, La Tech. Who's Quentin Patton? 4th round pick, Quentin Patton. And so Tim Rattay set all these records for La Tech. But no, getting back to it, I think Meek Robinson has a swagger. He has a skill set. He has a chip on the shoulder, like Coach Simmons talked about earlier today. And what I like about Meek Robinson is his ability to fight and compete. And I think that's going to do wonders for him, because what Meek Robinson can do, and yes, he struggled in spot duty once Casey Hayward went down to injury and he had to come in and pinch. And obviously Trayvon Mullen went down, who was playing at a Pro Bowl level in my grading system, although it's small sample size. Only the first game he played that in. All right. The rest of the games before his injury, he was playing at a Pro Bowl level. But let's get back to Meek Robinson. When he had to fill in for spot duty last year, he struggled at the catch point. You know, at the drop of his death, he couldn't get the needed, he couldn't close the needed separation, and he was small, right? He's short. So like when people look at height and when the combine comes around, oh, this guy's 5'8", he's a 5'9" corner. And we see it year in and year out, right? If you go back throughout history, right, where you play slot cornerback or boundary quarterback, you know, you can have your Ray Mickens, you can have your Aaron Glenn's, you can have your Jason Websters, right? Of years past, right? And you look at other players like, well, Aaron Glenn, right, who's now coaching in the NFL, right? These guys are all diminutive in size, but then you have guys like Darrell Green, excuse me, from formerly the Washington Redskins, number 28. And so you kind of have to pick, and those are rare, you know, but then you have R.W. McQuarters, right, number 21, coming out of Oklahoma State, and this guy struggled, but he was a good return man, right? And then ultimately won a ring with the New York Giants. So you have to look at these diminutive cornerbacks and say, hey, are they good enough? Well, GM Trent Baalke told me during the draft presser, right, when I asked a question about Brandon Cooks, okay, opposite side of the football, but he's like, does he play like Steve Smith or does he play like so? I don't know the other player, but does he play like Steve Smith? Basically, he's saying, is this guy vertically challenged? And if he's not vertically challenged, then yeah, we might take a flyer on him. If he has a 42.5-inch vertical, then we might take a flyer on him. If he has good hip flexors, we might take a flyer on him. If he has this, if he has that, right? And you check off the boxes, because all the boxes checked for one player did not equate to the next, and they could play the same exact position. Because there's different traits you look for in a specific position of the player or a scheme that you're looking for. If you're 6'2" or 6'3", like Rashard Robinson, right, coming out, or if you're like Ahmed Plummer coming out of the Ohio State University and you're only 5'11", 190 pounds, 205 pounds, but you're fundamentally sound, who do you want? Rashard Anderson coming out of Carolina, or Ahmed Plummer? Now, Rashard Anderson was eye candy. He was. They didn't come out of Jackson State or something. He came out of some small school, right? Drafted before Ahmed Plummer. But Ahmed Plummer had the better career because he was fundamentally sound. And again, you can go down the list. Ohio State running backs, Nate Clements, another one. Antoine Winfield, another one. Right? These guys are diminutive in size, but they were always strong boundary cornerbacks because they brought other skill sets to the forefront. And I think that's what you look for. That's what I look for when I grade a player, when I evaluate game film, when I see the boundary cornerback or the slot cornerback or defensive back, free safety, doesn't matter. And you look at these things and you be like, oh, can Antoine Winfield Jr., is he going to be a slot cornerback because he's small? Or, he definitely can't play boundary quarterback because he's only 5'8". So let's plug him in at strong safety. Can he be well, speaking of the Vikings, who's that guy out of Minnesota? That Minnesota had a guy by the name of something Carter. Tyrone Carter, was that his name out of Minnesota? Minnesota Gopher, right? Tyrone Carter. Then he went to the Minnesota Vikings. The small guy, but he can hit. You have Bob Sanders, right? Indianapolis Colts, right? The hitman over the years. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but there's different things that you look for in certain defensive backs. And if that translates into what you're trying to do, then so be it. So when it comes to Amik Robinson, I think he's going to be a good player if he can stay fundamentally sound and win his reps. Like, he won a big rep against Hunter Renfrow. When freaking, you guys tweeted it out how many times? Like 400 times or something like that. Like 400 likes and like, I don't know how many retweets. But that's probably why my freaking phone died. It was at 1% at the gym. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, getting back to it, I tried to post a video and I couldn't. Thanks, guys. But no, Amik Robertson's going to be just fine. I think he's going to make this roster. So some people, he's not going to make the roster. Why would you give up on Amik Robertson? If anything, he could be a special teams talent. And again, you need special teams player because it's a third of the game. It's an often overlooked phase of the game, but it's very important. It's just as important as offense and defense. All right, Chemo from Kalihi says Raiders. Robert Pena says Raiders. We got a lot of Raiders. NorCal Raiders. Jesse says Raiders. All right, NorCal Raiders. Jesse says salute Robert Pena. I like it. I like the interaction. See, keep this engagement going. Share this video if you guys like. The best thing you guys can do is share this video to your family and friends or on your social media, because that's going to help the channel grow. So if you like the channel, share the video, and definitely helps me out because I'm my own hype man. Again, like people say, like, dude, like how come, well, I can't afford a video editor. I'm my own photographer. I'm my editor in chief. I do it all. I'm the blogger. I'm the vlogger. I'm the mic man. I'm the mic check man. It's a one-man show here, and I do it all. And so the best thing you guys can do for me, if you guys like it, is just share the channel. Just share the channel. Do me a solid and spread the word to all your family and friends that Dark Side of BEASTwriter is here to stay, and I ain't going anywhere. And I'm going to be covering the silver and black full time now, and it's all fun and games, and we're just going to see where it goes, because at the end of the day, I'm committed to excellence, right? Committed to the excellence here at Raider Way. All right. David says, do you know anything about the three running backs who we worked out? Levante Bellamy, Coy Holmes, Brendan Cox. I do not. I heard that we did work out these running backs. I do not know anything about them. Now, again, iron sharpens iron. What's the play with this, right? What's the play of bringing in these running backs now, as opposed to especially after the first preseason game? Well, as you guys know, and I tweeted this out earlier, Zamir White, if you guys follow my BEASTwriter Plus newsletter, I talked about this. You talk about Zamir White, and there's good and bad with every player, right? Just like there's good and bad with me. Like, I'm not good at certain things, right? A lot of things, but I'm better at other things, right? So same thing applies with Zamir White. And we're always constantly growing, always constantly learning, always striving to be the best, right? You're never complacent. Just because you're great at something doesn't mean you be better at it, right? You're always trying to fine tune your craft. So with Zamir White, for me, it comes down to pass protection, right? And you see this in practice. And I posted some videos up for you guys. Is running backs in pass protection. Are you a one-trick pony or are you a multiple-trick pony? Because if you cannot pass protect on third downs and protect that quarterback, Derek Carr, your franchise quarterback, you're not going to be in on third downs. And that makes you what? Expendable. Because that just means that you can't do what the coaches are asking you to do. Now, Zamir White has done a tremendous job in working on technique and then understanding how to pass protect once he's called upon. You see it with the drills, and then you see it with the trash cans, and they put two trash cans on either side. You have a running back, you have a middle linebacker, or whatever the case may be, and they just go heads up, and then they practice technique, right? You're not seeing a lot of window shopping or some guys getting moved off they're not seeing a 2-on-1 matchup or a 3-on-2 matchup. You see that sometimes. And it's like, no, they're, again, fundamentals. In order to learn how to run, you have to learn how to walk. And learn how to walk, you have to learn how to crawl. So there you have it. But this pick segment was great. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I hope you guys, oh no, we're not done yet. Shoot, I forgot to answer these questions. This guy's like, dude, you didn't answer my question. Okay, so let's talk about the secondary working on press technique. Before I let you guys go, we're talking about the press technique and specifically in what I saw in practice today. I tweeted this out and put up the YouTube video on it. So the press technique and zone coverage, where you're looking for, whether it be a cover 2, cover 4, whatever the case may be, is you want to see literally how they're playing their splits. And what I mean by that is pre-snap splits, outside versus inside leverage. And so if you're playing with outside leverage, typically you want to funnel the play back inside to your help, whether it be that underneath curl flat defender or so forth, right? Usually it's a linebacker, but it could be a strong safety if you're playing a cover 1 or a cover 3. Okay. Cool story, bro. And then on top of that, once the ball arrives, you want to be in a trail mode so you don't get too vertical upfield, and where you can kind of wash yourself out of the play by default, right? And so you look at hand placement, and we talked about the strip fumble, that the peanut punch, I guess you would say, that Coach Simmons was teaching today and preaching. So these are all fundamentals, and that's something that I saw in today's practice, and something that I'm really, really excited about, because a lot of times you don't see this. You don't see this. And the same thing goes with the defense and front seven. Again, if after this video ends, go back and watch my YouTube videos of the day. I date all the videos, by the way. So that's just for you. It wastes characters, but hey, I don't care. Like, whatever. I do it all for you guys, because sometimes you guys are like, when was this posted? Is this on this day? And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to start posting the days. And so the video of the defensive front seven, I went ahead and posted that video today. And again, this is what's off on the defensive front seven, right? So you're learning about different techniques, and you're learning about ways of how to improve tackling, right? The tackling is a lost art. A lot of people lead with the helmet, lead with their shoulders, but don't wrap up. You don't squeeze through the thighs. You don't tack the near hip of the receiver, disallowing the cutback against the grain, limiting yards after contact. Well, if you watch Coach McDaniels, he's like, nah, man, we're not going to have this issue. We're not going to go into the season not knowing how to freaking tackle. And so that's why you see these players, and if you watch the video, they teach them how to throttle down, right? It's almost like closing out in basketball, right? If you see Steph Curry going up for a 3-pointer 20 feet beyond the arc, right, from half court, well, you're not going to run at full speed and then try to block the shot, because what is he going to do? He's just going to pump fake and blow right past you for an easy layup, right? And so probably not. He'll probably take the 3, but you guys get the point, right? So if you know how to throttle down and still stay square to your target, see what you hit, right, so to speak. And then also using the proper angles, using the sideline as an extra defender. Now we're talking fundamentals to where, hey, we're going to make the play and we're going to limit yards after contact. Again, I said it once, I said it twice, and say it the third time. The Las Vegas Raiders will be the most penalized team, top five most least penalized team. They're going to be the top 5 least penalized teams when it's all said and done. They're going to be the top 5 least penalized teams when it's all said and done. This is how disciplined this team is under Coach McDaniels. I wouldn't be surprised if they led the league in least penalties for the season. That's how good they are. Now, Maxx Crosby, you got called for 2 offside penalties, man. But it's okay. I can live with it, because the risk reward of you getting double-digit sacks. I'm joking. We're not talking about sack numbers, because you don't care about that. Either do I. The pressure rate is what I'm looking for. You have that to a T, and I'm very, very happy that you have that down because you're a beast at it. And you just bull rushed Alex Leatherwood today, and I was amazed at how powerful you converted that speed to power, and you just drove him back 2 freaking feet back. I was like right in front. I was like, whoa, what was that? All right, that's going to be it for this live stream. I hope you guys had fun today. Tim Honda says, you got any info on Trayvon Mullen? Any idea on what exactly the injury is and his expected return? I do not know what's going on with Trayvon Mullen. I do know he's on the physically unable to perform list as I'm looking at my roster right here. Bilal Nichols is also on that list. Obviously, Dylan Stoner and Jonathan Hankins is also finished up the list. But as far as Trayvon Mullen, I haven't heard anything back here from Raiders headquarters as far as his timetable for a return. And I guess we won't know until it gets closer to the season. But if you were to ask me who the week 1 starters were to be, it'd be Brock Yestin on one side and Nate Hobbs on the other. Once Trayvon Mullen does return, because it is a contract year for him, and again, he was playing at a Pro Bowl level in my grading system before his injury, and I know it's a small sample size, but so be it, whatever. Cool story, bro. Coming out of Clemson, I still have high hopes that he has Pro Bowl potential, and if he has enough muscle memory and can have the physical therapy to recover in a timely manner, obviously they're going to open that window, right? There's a 21-day window once you take him off, and then you have a 21-day window to activate him and so forth, right? Because once you activate him, it's done, and so you can't revert back. And so once you see him acclimated and finally hitting his midseason stride, which I don't know when that's going to be, but that'll be the time frame of Coach McDaniels to take a strong look at him, and Coach Simmons and Coach Ash, and be like, hey, man, all right, so he's in a contract year. Obviously, Rock Yassin's here. Nate Hobbs is here. Can Trayvon Mullen be that third cornerback? Or is it going to be a Make Robertson? Again, the iron sharpens iron mentality is here. I think they have good depth here as opposed to other teams that I grade around here. But when you look at the secondary as a unit and what they're trying to accomplish, I think the secondary is not as bad. And this is nothing against the offensive line, but I think the offensive line right now is the weakest link. And if you're formulating your best 5, I think you have to kick Alex Leatherwood at right tackle, because Brandon Parker, if he's not going to be around for the season, because whatever the case may be, torn bicep, whatever the case may be, I don't know whatever it is, or if he is going to come back, then this is a non-discussion. But if Alex Leatherwood is ultimately going to be the starting right tackle, I see it's going to be a roll tide, roll right side. And I think that can be very, very good, but at the same time, very, very dangerous, because again, how many reps have Cotton and Leatherwood really gotten together, like live reps, right? So again, I'm really eager to see. I think both of them can have huge success, by the way. I'm a huge roll tide roll fan, and I'm if I was to bank on it, I think they're going to do just fine. But again, we have to see it. We have to put it into action, because I can say all the right things. I can do the right things, but at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words ever will. All right, so we're just going to have to see how one plays out. But when it comes to Trayvon Mullen, I don't know when that's going to return. I'll keep you posted. So keep up with my YouTube videos, and I'll make sure weekly and daily that I will make sure and give you a Trayvon Mullen update. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I gotta hit the gym. Your boy is tired right now. I am out of breath. Smooth R says, Beast, I just had kidney transplant. Can't leave the house for a while. Waiting to listen to you helps me. I love listening to Raiders content. Thanks, Raiders Nation for life. Thank you so much, man. And I hope you get better, man, with your kidney transplant, man. Hey, man, this is I'm getting goosebumps, man. It means a lot to me, because you never know who you touch, right? You never know. One person makes a huge difference. And again, I literally have goosebumps. I don't know if you guys can see, but now you guys will be like, oh, this guy's trying to flex. Like, no, dude, if you want to see me flex, I'll flex. But no, like, I literally have goosebumps. I'm at a loss for words, because man, that means so much to me. It means like this is worthwhile, and I'm in some way I'm kind of helping you and I guess deal with whatever you guys got going on. So to take your mind off of whatever pain you're going through, or whatever the case may be, man, I'm just happy to be here for you. And like I said, man, if you have any questions, man, just shoot them over to me. I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you. That's part of my job, and I feel like I've always done it this way, is if you have a question, I'm going to respond to you. Like, literally, I'm going to respond to you and give you an answer, right? So even if I don't know the answer, I'm still going to say, hey, sorry, man, I don't know the answer. Like with Trayvon Mullen, I don't know the answer. Like with Brandon Parker, I don't know the answer. But at least I'm giving you the decency and respect of the response, right? Like, treat others how you want to be treated. And I think that's the best way of attacking life, right? And so, again, doing this live stream, this is my first live stream straight from Raiders headquarters. It means a lot. And I wouldn't be here without you guys all in my corner. It's all about the DOB. And again, we run giveaways, man. Like I said, it's money out of my own pocket. And I do it every freaking week. I give away t-shirts, swag. I've been doing it with the Niners, been doing it, all along. Like for instance, I just gave season tickets away to the Packers game. Like for instance, today, like literally today. So I do things like that because again, I wouldn't be here without you guys. So you guys, you got to stay rooted, like part of being humble is remembering where you came from. And I was once a fan, right? So from a fan perspective, I always wanted to gravitate toward a beat writer or someone who I really looked up to and be like, oh man, I wish that guy, as much as I like that wouldn't be cool if just responded to me. Like if he just said, what's up to me, you know what I mean? At a game or something like that. And, always wanted to return that favor. So here I am today, and just hearing that, man, means a lot to me. So mahalo for the love, and I hope you get well. But like I said, man, it's an honor just covering the team and being here today. All right, that's going to be it for this live stream. Again, if you guys liked what I had to say, which you probably don't, which you probably did, please share the video. Like literally share the video. It would mean a lot, and I wouldn't be here doing this because here we are, an hour and 40 minutes and 52 seconds in. And we had more, I tell you this, no joke, we had more eyes on this than my Niner freaking live stream when I first started. And that has over 250,000 fans on Facebook. Not kidding. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. BEASTwriter out.